Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're back with my little AirTag here because there was a bunch of stuff that I still wanted to explore with this. And if you haven't seen my original review, definitely check that out to see some of the basics as to how this operates. But in this video, I wanted to answer some questions that I had about how it handled privacy and the anti-stalking protections, what the range of it is when you're out looking for it, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to dive into a bunch of those topics right now. Now, I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that I paid for the AirTag here with my own funds. All of the opinions you're about to hear are my own. No one is paying for this review, nor has anyone reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it was uploaded. So let's get into it now and explore some of these questions about the new Apple AirTag. So let's begin with some tests that I did in regards to the anti-stalking protections. What I did is I paired up the AirTag with an old iPhone 6s. This is the oldest phone that will work with the AirTags because it supports iOS 14.5. And I was able to get it paired up no problem. And that iPhone is on a completely different iCloud account than the rest of the stuff that I use day to day. And so what I did is I paired the AirTag up with that phone with a new iCloud account. I then turned off the 6s. I put the AirTag in my pocket, and I left the house with my iPhone 12 that I use day to day. And I was gone the whole day. My kids had a fun little birthday party down at the beach not too far away, had a great time, but the whole time I was gone, I did not receive a single notification to tell me that I had somebody nefariously tracking me with an AirTag placed on my person. It wasn't until I got home at the end of the day that I got the alert. And it turns out this is how, at the moment, this alert feature works. It waits until you get home to tell you that somebody's tracking you. Meanwhile, I was gone all day and getting tracked everywhere I was going. So when I did get home, I clicked on the notification that came over on my iPhone 12. Again, the 6s that we paired it with was still off. And what my Find My app on my iPhone 12 told me was that this AirTag had been with me since 9:30 in the morning when I first set it up. But I didn't get a notification until 4:30 or so in the afternoon when I got home. And it also showed me everywhere that it reported back as to my location. So that was kind of creepy to know that somebody could be tracking me all day at all the different places that I stopped without me having any idea that I was being tracked until I got home. Now, what you do get on an iPhone is instructions for how to disable the AirTag if you want to make sure that they can't track you any longer. And it's actually just taking the battery out, and they instruct you how to do that through the app. And that's it. So I was really disappointed that I didn't get a notification earlier about this, and I think that's something Apple might want to tweak. I know there's a balance between bugging people when they lend keys to a friend, but I was out all day, and this thing was tracking me everywhere I went. And if somebody had planted this on me, they could have been tracking my movements. There's a great YouTuber, Travis McP, who did a video on this topic with a buddy of his, and he attached the AirTag to the bottom of this guy's truck and was able to track him all over the place. And the guy never received a notification that Travis was tracking him. Definitely check out his video linked here on screen to see that test. And the reason why these AirTags are so effective as tracking devices is because there are so many iPhones in the world. It's a very popular platform, and any iPhone that has this Find My iPhone functionality enabled is a reporting device, and it will, in the background, whenever it sees one of these things, it'll just report its location back to Apple. And that's why, without any GPS circuitry on board, they are very effective at allowing you to track the location of items. It's very convenient for a lot of reasons, but it also raises some of these privacy issues. And again, I'm a little nervous about the fact that the notifications aren't coming more frequently than I experienced. Now, what if you have an Android device and somebody plants one of these things on you? Well, you're kind of out of luck because you only get the warning notification if you own an iPhone. So on the Android side, you have to wait for another safety feature to turn itself on, which is that the AirTag, after I think 2 or 3 days, will start making a noise if it doesn't get back to its host iPhone within a certain period of time. It'll start beeping, and then you can go obviously track down the sound that you might be hearing. But if it's on the back of your truck, you're probably not going to hear it. And of course, your Android phone here will not get a notification to let you know you've got one of these things following you around. Now, if you own an Android device and you happen to come across an AirTag, all you have to do is flip it over and attach your NFC reader to the top of the AirTag, and it will give you some information about it. So this one I put into lost mode, and it will pull up a special URL at Apple to tell me the phone number I need to call to return it to its owner. And then I also can tap on here to get the instructions as to how to disable the AirTag, again, by taking the battery out, not through any other means. Now, I can also save the serial number if I wanted to report that to law enforcement later. But again, on the Android side of things, you're not going to get notified. You're going to have to listen for that beep, and then you can scan it with your NFC scanner to figure out who it belongs to. Now, if the AirTag is not in lost mode, you can still scan it and get its serial number, as you can see here, but it doesn't tell you who it belongs to because, again, it's not being labeled as a lost device. But you can write down that serial number, work with law enforcement, and I'm sure Apple will work with them to figure out who it belongs to. But still, on Android, you're kind of at a disadvantage because you're not going to get that push notification. You're going to have to listen for that little sound going off on the AirTag itself when it's been separated for a couple of days. Now, I did find that you do get notifications coming back pretty quickly when you enable the lost tag feature. It comes back on your phone, and it also dings you on your watch, and you can click on the Find My app to figure out its location. Now, what I did in this mode was plant the AirTag in my wife's purse before she went out for the day, and I was able to track her location as she was going to different places throughout town, and I was getting notifications every time the tag moved, and the Find My app noticed a change of location. Now, one thing that disappointed me, though, is that the family share option here doesn't work, and I talked about that in my initial review. That means that when you pair the tag up with your phone, your family members who might be within your iCloud family plan can't also track it. It's only going to attach to your phone only. And hopefully Apple can maybe make an option to allow you to share the tag with family members, because there are things like the dog that we would like to track collectively as opposed to just one person. The other thing that I noticed is that when I did plant the tag on my wife, she did not get notifications that the tag was following her around like I got when I had the tag associated with a different iCloud account. So she went out for a good length of time with this in her purse. My phone was with me at the house, and it didn't notify her when she came home to tell her that the tag was riding along with her. So that's another area that I think Apple's got to look at. Now, in the run-up to the AirTags release, Apple told YouTuber Renee Ritchie that there would be an option for the owner of an AirTag to disable alerts for family or friends within a family sharing circle. I have not seen that option. What I have seen is that my wife doesn't get notifications at all. So my caution to you is that if you are in a family plan and you don't want family members planting these things on you, I would get your account out of the family plan so that you will get notified when one of these things appears. All right, the next thing I wanted to check out was tracking range. How far away can you be from one of these AirTags and still figure out its precise location using the ultra wideband features? Now, as I noted in the original review, you need an iPhone 11 or 12 for that precision tracking, but it works pretty well outdoors. So during the review, we had planted this little AirTag inside of my daughter's stuffed animal. I put it out in the backyard, and I tried to track it down with my phone here. So what we did is we kind of got to where it found it on the map, and then we started walking around in that vicinity. And it looks like if you've got a good line of sight, it'll start picking it up at about 60 feet away. And you'll see that starting to click on there when we get a little bit closer to it. There it goes, about 63 feet. And the little stuffed animal is sitting up on the porch there on a chair. And that was about the best I would see it from a range standpoint when I had direct line of sight. But once it locked on, it was pretty good and would get us right into its specific location here as I walked around. You can see that it was noticing I was going off track a little bit, and you can see the little green guy sitting there on the porch, and it was able to locate it pretty precisely there. So that worked pretty nicely outdoors, I think. Now, if there's an obstruction in the way, you don't get as much range. So when we're on the backside of that little Animal Crossing house there, as I'm walking closer, you can see it starts picking it up about 30 or so feet away. But once it's got it locked on, it's actually able to see its location, or at least pick up its radio signals through that structure, and it's directing us to go around and point ourselves to the left there where the stuffed animal was sitting. So I think the precision stuff works really well on the iPhone 11 and 12 for getting down to that last couple of feet to find your missing AirTag. Of course, if you've got some obstruction like a bag and stuff in the bag kind of dampening that signal, it will be a little tougher to get zeroed in on it. But if you've got good GPS coordinates to start with, you should be able to narrow it down pretty quickly. And you can also activate the speaker if you need to try to figure out exactly where it is if the precision stuff isn't working. But in my testing, it's been working pretty nicely. Now, on that iPhone 6s, you don't have the precision feature because that phone doesn't have the radio for it. So in that instance, you have to rely on only the map to track down the exact location. But again, on the 11 and 12, it's pretty cool to have that hot and cold kind of thing to direct you right into that last foot. So altogether, there are definitely some things to be concerned with here with the AirTags, but I also think it's a very intriguing product from Apple. The concept here is not new. Tile has been doing these little trackers for a long time, but what is new is having such a huge network of phones and devices that can keep track of these things all over the world. And that's the big differentiator, because you don't have to rely on people installing a special app to do the crowd finding features that this offers. And I think that's the big differentiator. Pretty much any iPhone is going to be reporting the location of these things. And that, I think, makes it very useful for people that do want to keep track of stuff. And it looks like this technology is going to get built into other devices like bikes and other things that want to pay Apple a royalty for including that technology in their products. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this kind of stuff, but I do hope they figure out some ways to deal with some of the privacy concerns that we raised here at the beginning of the video, especially for Android users who do not get the benefit of a notification when one of these things is following them around. There's a lot of iPhone users reporting the locations of these things, and I think as a result, their effectiveness makes them something to be concerned about, especially for people that want to keep their locations private. That's going to do it for now. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Chris Allegretta, Tom Albrecht, Mark Bollinger, Sergio Morales, Mark Dell, Jim Callagher, and Stephen Sue. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.